What is up, entrepreneurs? You are tuned into the Non-Corporate Network, the worldwide leader in entrepreneurship. You're watching Entreprenews, a show where Dustin and I debate the top 6 trending small business headlines for 3 minutes each. We each give our takes. They then award me the trophy for the better take. And then we move on with the rest of our day. Dustin, you have anything you want to add before we get into our first story?
Yeah. Chaz thinks he gets the W, wakes up, realizes he's a lahu zaher. And we just go on from there. But our main goal is to bring you business news that's unbiased and just give our perspective.
Awesome. Well, diving into our first story, Shopify keeping up with Amazon. They account for 6% of total online sales in the US, which is more than eBay or Etsy. And they're all over the place. They've reported 62% increase in clients since coronavirus started. They have extended their free trial from 2 weeks to 3 months. They also have put a $200 million cash infusion loan program together for small businesses to help them to stay on their feet. Dustin, do you think that Shopify has the opportunity to knock Amazon off their pedestal?
No, I think they definitely do. I mean, especially if they're helping sellers save on the commissions. I will say, though, I mean, people are going to see those savings and go, oh, I need to move because I'm going to make more at the end of my margins are going to be better. But I think one thing that people aren't going to take into account is how much power Amazon has in terms of the SEO. When someone looks for a product, Amazon shows up. If you go over to Shopify, you got to build out your own brand. You got to work on your SEO. You got to build a business where Amazon, you can go list it and you can start seeing sales day one. They have their UI UX down to know people are familiar with it. So it's easier to make that purchase. Granted, we're seeing more and more Shopify sites where that checkout process is pretty much the same. But I mean, in terms of cost, I think it's great for people as long as those people that are moving are going to double down on their marketing and brand building and figuring out how to just do digital a bit better.
You know, I hear what you're saying, but I am fired up about Shopify. Mark my words, Dustin. I promise you, it's going to be a big thing. Just want to read a couple of things to you. Maybe this will help kind of change your mind and see what I'm seeing. Shopify is only taking 2.9% commissions on sales. Amazon is at 15%, 5x. Okay, so there's already become a mass exodus of Amazon sellers. The other thing is distribution, baby. Distribution. Amazon sellers do not have access to the email addresses of the people that are buying their products. They simply can just put it up, hope somebody sees it and buys it, and then the process starts over again. And so Shopify obviously is letting you track all the user data, all of the email addresses, and hit the distribution hard. And on top of that, I know Amazon's growing and everybody's looking at me going, what the hell, Chaz? But I'm looking at this. Amazon's share of e-commerce market is down from 42% to 34% since the pandemic started. The writing is on the wall, Dustin. Shopify, baby. It is here to stay.
It's definitely a good long-term play. I just want to reiterate, if someone's going to make the move, they got to do a good job at their digital marketing efforts, building brand. The barrier to entry is much higher over there. So I totally agree.
$200 million triple P or their own loan program. And it's not the triple P. So it's probably not full of as many smoke and mirrors. So
yeah, no, like I will reiterate again. It is a good long-term play. And I think where the power is going to be is maybe leveraging Amazon to get people there and then figure out how to funnel them to your Shopify store. And then you kind of transition to Shopify. And I think that might be the way to go. But it's going to be a long road uphill to build that brand, just like anything else. So.
Fair enough. Getting into our next story, I know we've had an ongoing discussion about the triple P. Small business owners could face a huge tax bill this year, starting to come out of the woodwork, the implications of this triple P loan. So one thing to consider that I think has kind of gone by the wayside is that this is reported as income, getting this triple P loan. And so if you're doing quarterly estimates based on your current revenue and not factoring in your loan amount, then you could be slapped with a huge tax bill come tax season on just the loan that you grabbed. So, Dustin, what do you think about this? Is this something that the media should do a better job of giving the full story? What are your thoughts on this big fat tax bill come to the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's the news should be doing a better story. I mean, they should take notes from Entreprenews. But then it's nothing is ever free, and the government can't run by just giving money out and not getting anything back. But I think as a business owner, you got to do your due diligence, whether you take the time to read everything, the fine print, or you hire someone to do it. But I mean, on that note, I don't think the government had it figured out until recently. And so it's tough. I mean, it's like you need the money to stay afloat, but you don't realize how the implications are going to come in the future. And so, I mean, to your point, it's like, sweet, I got all this money. And then next thing you know, it's like I owe an extra 40, 50 grand in taxes. And now it's like, I got to go out of business because I can't pay my tax bill. And that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the entire program.
Well, I mean, I look at the loan as something where it's like, okay, yeah, I want to make videos, so I need to buy a camera. And then it's like, well, crap, I need to buy a laptop. Oh, and I need to buy all the software. Oh, well, I need to make sure I learn how to edit. I got to buy a course on how to learn how to edit. It's just like that one thing that you got that you thought was going to be the camera, the end all be all, now just becomes a small cog in the amount of expenses that you're incurring. And so looking at this PPP loan, it's like, okay, I hear you. Maybe you need to go and get somebody that knows finance, knows accounting. You're not sitting on piles of cash to go hire a lawyer, hire a tax advisor, hire another CPA that just does the PPP loan processing. I mean, I think that it's something where it brings all these other expenses with it that aren't forgivable by the PPP loan. So now you're just burning through cash that you probably don't have to figure out how to use the PPP. I think it's just the odds are really stacked against a lot of small businesses.
No, it's a tough situation, and I wonder how much time went into trying to apply for the PPP loan and getting it, as opposed to how much time was thought through on how to pivot your business. And I mean, there's tons of pivoting going on and tons of people creating opportunities out of what's going on right now. But I mean, I've said it before. I mean, I've taken some from the government and it turned around and bit me, down the road. And it's like, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's like the government's there to help until, we're past the situation. Now it's like, oh, wow, we handed out trillions of dollars. We got to get our money back somehow. And that's by either taxing taxpayers or businesses. And, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next, year or so once these tax bills start coming in and stuff.
Do a better job, CNBC. Into our next story, TikTok is launching a $200 million fund to pay creators for their videos. This is another attempt to continue to help monetize their creators, keep them on their platform. A lot of interesting stuff here. They haven't announced the critical mass of following that you have to have, but they did announce that you can start applying for this in August. There's still a lot of smoke and mirrors around, but this is on the coattails of them launching their new ad console. And so I look at this as a two-sided market, right? They've got to have ad dollars coming in order to be able to afford to pay these content creators. But this is a very interesting play amidst their giant data scheme that's happening and unfolding in front of us. So it doesn't seem like they're too worried about being blocked in the US or in other countries that are kind of starting to look a little bit deeper into the data side. But what do you think of this $200 million fund? Is TikTok a more attractive platform than maybe YouTube or Instagram for creators? And they have bigger problems than this they need to be looking at.
Yeah, I mean, it's in terms of being a creator, I mean, I think the opportunity is bigger than YouTube or any other platform because they're cash infusing quite a bit. They're trying to help get more content created so that they can attract businesses to then advertise on the platform. So, I mean, as a creative or a creator, the opportunity is much bigger on TikTok right now. Whether that's a smart move, but on TikTok's part to spend $200 million to do that, I mean, you kind of have to have that in order to attract the businesses. But with all the data stuff that's going on, I wonder how many businesses are going to be inclined to spend dollars there. There's a lot of bad news going on, but I mean, in terms of how much pushback they're getting from the United States and other countries, you can't just fold up and stop doing business. I mean, they're making moves to try and get more content created, which will then attract businesses. And so I think they're making the right moves. Whether it's going to work or not, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm seeing tons of ads. So they're burning tons of money right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I look at it as something that it really does go back to the ad platform. We saw a company by the name of was 6-second videos. It's
Vine.
Vine. Gosh, oh my gosh. We saw Vine have a very similar problem, right? They got this critical mass of users. They have all these creators, millions of views on videos, and they couldn't get their ad product out quick enough. I think TikTok is doing a better job of this, but to your point, if we're boycotting Facebook over proliferating hate speech, TikTok's a lot more infant of a technology than Facebook, and they obviously have a lot more problems from a data side. So are businesses really going to be inclined to put their credit card information in, to put their bank account information in? And then on top of that, again, you have to have critical mass from an advertising revenue standpoint in order to be able to afford a $200 million cash infusion of paying the creators. And so I look at this and go, okay, how many businesses realistically are looking to market to a 15-year-old girl that's watching dance videos? I don't know if that's going to be a very lucrative customer, maybe big term, long-term branding, but it'll be interesting to see.
That's my point is like, who's the audience that's on there? Granted, it has a growing older demographic, but
they're going to make $200 million.
Yeah. Is it an audience that's going to spend money for the advertisers so they can see an ROI?
Yeah. Well, before we get into our next story, I just want to mention that we are partnered with State 48 apparel company. They are an amazing company based out of here in Arizona. Extremely creative designs. They work with a lot of amazing businesses, helping to partner with them and get the awareness of their brands out there. A lot of amazing nonprofits. Dustin, do you have anything you want to add about State 48?
Yeah, they're doing a ton for the community. Comfortable clothing. I mean, it's clothing for all inspired by Arizona. They just started pre-order on their ASU shirts. They just got a licensing deal there, and it's blowing up. So go check them out, state48.com. As we head into our next story, LendingTree did a survey on businesses in the top 50 metropolitan areas, and they say that up to 40% of small businesses are in major crisis as they don't have enough cash to last more than 4 weeks. It's basically 24 to 40% of businesses don't have the cash to last. 11% don't even know how much cash they have in terms of going over a week or two of expenses. And so we got a lot of businesses that are on the brink of closing down. The interesting part, though, is the amount of people that have cash for more than 3 months has risen from 16% up to 27%. So it's like you got a ton that are about to go out of business, but the people that have cash, they're that's growing. And so you're seeing a huge divide there. We've talked about so many CEOs and small businesses, business owners having a great outlook on the future. Stock markets are up. But I mean, with this, what's right? Are we good? Are we not good? I mean, what are your thoughts on these numbers?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to tell who to trust, and that's part of why we created this show, is because there's so many different stories and headlines popping up. I think that the big thing here is that people look like, not us as entrepreneurs, but the majority of people are looking to the stock market, the S&P 500, to be the barometer of what does the economy look like? Are we all right? How is business progressing during this time? And again, it's not the S&P 500 anymore. It's S&P 5. We joke. It's these big companies that are becoming more and more profitable because they're able to, burn cash, acquire more customers, develop products specific to the needs of customers right now. And, it creates this kind of gap where we don't see what the small business is really dealing with. When you look at the stock market, it's not indicative of what small businesses are really like, what their health is like. And so, again, I wonder if this factors in the businesses that have gone out of business. If we got 40% of businesses that are afraid of, the next 3 months, but then, we also have a bunch of businesses that have already gone out of business, that 40% is much larger than 40% if you factor in the businesses that are not even relevant or alive anymore. So I think it's a very big risk that we're running, kind of continuing to look at the stock market as, oh, the economy is doing well.
Yeah. And I mean, we've had more people file for unemployment recently. We got unemployment benefits, the extended benefits that are running out, I think today.
Yep.
And the feds haven't come to an agreement yet. You got PPP dollars that are running out. So it's like, it doesn't make for a good situation.
We thought we'd be out of the woods by now, but obviously we're not. And, if we keep inflating the stock market numbers and looking at the S&P 5, then it's going to continue to be a rosy story that we tell ourselves. So, we're going to have to wake up a little bit here.
Yep. And this next story kind of goes hand in hand with that. So Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, he was on CNBC and he mentioned, he does have businesses in his portfolio that will go out of business if they don't get stimulus. But his thing is, let's stop giving stimulus. We've already spent trillions of dollars to help. There's going to be quite a few businesses that get money. They're going to go out of business anyway. So him as a taxpayer, why does he want to give up more money just to give it to another business that's going to simply go out of business? And essentially he's calling them these zombie businesses. And it's a tough decision. It's you want people to last. You don't want unemployment to go up, but at the same time, his whole thing is capitalism doesn't have feelings. Capitalism doesn't have feelings essentially. And so it's let capitalism run through. Those who will close down will close down. Those who will thrive. And
give me a freaking break, Kevin. Come on, man. This goes deeper than just, okay, it's capitalism. Let's put businesses out of business. Like there's a velocity of money that's associated with the stimulus. It's about money changing hands, and the money that is being infused into these businesses is not just being sat on, it's being distributed to payroll. It's being distributed to the people that they're renting the office space from, right? They're paying their rent with this money. They're paying their utilities with this money. The people that they're paying that money to need this just as bad. And if the business closes, then they don't get that money either. And now we're even worse off. And then on top of that, we have more people that are unemployed. I mean, you can look at it and go, okay, the bottom 20% of businesses should just be going out of business. What's that going to do, Kevin? Like, seriously, bro.
Yeah. And one thing you mentioned is, maybe instead of giving money to every business, take a look at financials and have a barometer of what's the likelihood of them failing. And if it's high, let's not give them money. Those that are doing well, let's give them money. It sounded good at first, but after you get to thinking of it, does that then create a bigger divide of winners and losers? And I mean, if you're already doing well, do you really need the money? What are your thoughts on?
Let's completely change the fabric of the U.S. to where it's no longer the land of opportunity. It's just the land of working at a corporate business, and you have 5 choices to choose from. I think this is really just so stupid that it's like, okay, now we're going to put the wall up so that if you do want to start a business, it's going to be a much higher barrier to entry. You got to have 2 years of revenue in order to get a loan. It's like, how many people can really start a business, especially with the gig economy growing as much as it is? You're going to put this kind of requirement and this kind of barrier in front of small business owners and people that are laid off, that are just trying to start a new life, start a new thing, and try to make some money. I think it's just absolutely.
But at what point do we start looking at our deficit and how much, we're in debt? I mean, eventually you're going to get so far in debt that we're going to default as a country, and the implications there are far worse. And then the long-term effects in terms of inflation.
It goes back to GDP though, the velocity of money. If money isn't changing hands, if they don't have money in their pocket, it's not changing hands, then that's what's going to kickstart us more than anything.
Yep. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. On to our final story. So Walmart is opening 6 pharmacies in Atlanta, and really it's a medical center is what they're opening. Their whole goal is to try and get more people to come in to get exams, x-rays, checkups, which they'll go shop and spend more money in stores. They're looking to open up more in Florida in 2021. What they're going to be offering: annual checkups, x-rays, hearing services, and mental counseling. Obviously with everything going on right now, health is top of mind. Almost for everyone. But what are your thoughts? It's, do you want to go get your chicken and hearing aid checkup all under the same roof? Are they going to have qualified employees there? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. I'd rather go to Target for that. I think you can be in the everyday low cost provider. You can't I think slapping the medical brand on top of that is it's kind of tricky. But I know plenty of people that do their eye doctor exams at Walmart. So I think that they're a step away from from legitimacy there. I mean, we just saw CVS buy Aetna for $69 billion. And I think that was a pretty interesting kind of play and writing on the wall there that, you know, these different drugstores are now going to be a little bit more focused on insurance. And so I think that, you know, hand in hand, same kind of trend. But yeah, there is a point where you know, it's something like Amazon, right? There's too many businesses that you own that are hitting critical mass to where there has to be some kind of divide. I mean, I don't know why we have the antitrust. I mean, do you
think the antitrust stuff should be revisited? Because I mean, to your point, we've been talking about Amazon. Sure, they're not in one industry, but it's like they're going into 10 different industries and becoming. I mean, pretty soon their stocks maybe 10 grand a share. Right. I mean, Bezos is making or losing like 7 to 15 billion a day, depending on how their stocks are doing. I mean, at what point are we gonna, you know, take a look and start breaking things up?
Well, that's the whole thing. The problem with the antitrust is that it was created for, you know, people like Rockefeller and Carnegie that were owning the market and then marking their stuff up because there was no competition and they were the only provider. And so here we haven't seen that happen yet, but these companies are going, hey, we're bleeding cash in the name of savings onto our customers, but really they're just scooping in customers, as many as they can. And I mean, is there going to be a point where there is some price collusion? Is there going to be a point where they're owning us and we can't go anywhere else? We rely on them for too many things to where we just have to obey. And so I think there is a risk there, and we probably need to revisit the language that's used on the antitrust policy in general.
Yeah, I mean, as the business landscape changes with technology, everything that's going on, I mean, how old is that law, the antitrust law?
1941,
yeah,
I think.
I mean, from the 40s, and I feel like the landscape has changed quite a bit, and I think it definitely needs to be revisited. And I mean, to your point, it's as of right now, they're not gouging prices because they own so much market share, but they are scooping everyone in. And at some point, someone's gonna go, you know what, it'd be nice to make a little bit more margin. Let's just crank up the prices.
You see that with like Netflix. It's like, oh, we're going to do 20-cent increase every month until all of a sudden we're double the price. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, a lot of interesting stories here. Looking back, I mean, I'm bullish on Shopify, baby. I really do think that this is going to be something that maybe doesn't topple Amazon, but they're definitely going to continue to vacuum up more and more market share. And by the way, I didn't mention this. They integrate with Facebook Shops. That's just a whole nother thing. Now, if you have Facebook and Shopify teaming up, I mean, now you're really gonna be doing some damage to Amazon.
Yeah, no, my favorite one is the PPP loan. It's and there's a lot of implications that are going to be happening that people don't even realize that are coming down the pipeline, and pretty big tax bills that, I mean, if you can't make payroll for 1 month, this huge tax bill, you're probably not gonna be able to pay that. And so it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out.
You know, well, we will see, and we'll continue to keep you updated Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We know you guys got stuff to get done, but thank you again for tuning into the Non-Corporate Network, the worldwide leader in entrepreneurship. We are Entreprenews. If you want to start your own story, you're inspired by what we're doing, you have your own story to tell about entrepreneurship or some aspect of business, we want to hear from you. Reach out to us, ncnbroadcast.com. You can also find us on social media at Non-Corporate Network and at entreprenews.ncn. Yeah, that's about all I got. Dustin, you have anything you want to?
Yeah, no, we're pumped. I mean, reach out if you have anything that's business related that we can help you create content. We potentially have 2 more shows that are going to be rolling out. So we're stoked.
We're hustling, baby. And check out the podcast too. You know, you don't have to be watching us live. You check us out at Entreprenews on anywhere where you get your podcast. We are there. But with that, again, my name is Chaz Vandemotter.
Dustin Trout.
And we will see you on Monday. Get to hustling, baby.
Get to hustle.
Peace.